Alright, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be going over the Redmi project. By the time I post the tutorial, the actual project might not be finished yet, but I kind of feel guilty for not posting any tutorials and posting 3D stuff. I've been quite busy with stuff that's client related and stuff that's not 3D related, things like post-production and video effects and stuff like that that's not really related to 3D, so it's been a bit difficult to do 3D stuff, but I thought I might as well do a tutorial on this project, since it only really needs like another 50 hours of rendering or so. I might do some minor text changes just to make it look a bit better. Other than that, it's pretty much done, so I thought I might as well do a tutorial on this. So I will be posting this project on patreon.com, so you can actually download the whole project over there. I've posted most of my projects on patreon.com as well. Most of the tutorials I've done, I've posted those projects and some of my best portfolio work on there as well. Right now I'm busy with the Corvette. I'm busy modeling a Corvette inside of Blender. I'm learning how to use Blender's modeling toolkit. And once that's done, it will take a while, probably around 60 plus hours to finish that. And that's just the modeling. But once that project's done, I'll also post that on patreon.com, but that will take a while before that's done. So if you want to go and get all my projects over there, you can find them on patreon.com/ArthurWhitehead. Also follow me on Instagram if you want to see what I'm up to. I do a lot of hiking photography. Photography really helps with your 3D. So I've been doing a lot of hiking and a lot of photography on there as well. And I also post a lot of 3D stuff, which generally I don't post on Facebook or YouTube. On Instagram.com/ArthurVisuals. And then Facebook, I try to keep up with that as well and just post more full project stuff. Like if I post a project on Patreon, I try and take all those images and post them on Facebook as well. I also upload all my tutorials and stuff like that on Facebook, and sometimes I keep up to date with Facebook as well. If I'm posting stuff on Instagram, I generally try and post it on Facebook as well at Arthur Visuals there as well. But we'll get into the actual tutorial now. So this is another project breakdown where I'll basically be showing you how I made this. This is quite a simple project. I actually wanted to do so much more with this. I wanted to go into deep with like particle effects and sound design and audio remixing and all sorts of stuff. But immediately as I started, I realized I needed X particles to get the quality of effects that I wanted. I had a bunch of people recommend me all these plugins, but they all look shitty, to be honest. And X particles is the only plugin I could see that could give me the level of quality inside of Cinema 4D. Don't really know any other plugin. I don't really know any other programs like Blender or Houdini that well. I am learning Blender right now, and so far it's going really well. I might actually switch in the beginning of 2019 to Blender, because Cinema 4D is just limiting me right now. It's good if you're a beginner, but I'm not a beginner anymore, so I need to upgrade to something that's more capable of doing other things. So as soon as I realized I needed money to do those particle effects, I completely trashed the whole idea and I just made something super basic, since I already modeled the phone and planned it all out. So this is almost like a trash project, which I still tried to put some effort into it. And then it ended up coming out okay, but it's nowhere near what I wanted it to be. And I thought it was just good anyways to finish it and put it on my portfolio just to show clients that I could make something like this. So here you'll see that we have, I should have played this in the intro of this video, so you'll get to sort of see what the whole video is like. But here we have the intro, some particle effects and the reveal of the phone, or like a reveal of the silhouette of the phone. Then you go into zoomed in look, and here you can actually see that you can actually see these pieces now, which you can't in here. I don't think many people notice that. And then here it sort of like zooms in into the eye lens and then goes through like all these circuits and stuff, and then out pops the other circuits, and you can sort of see circuit with my logo on there. And that's just some fancy phone terms I found on the internet. Pasted it there. Then it sort of comes out the back of the phone here. Nice transitions. The light sort of fades out there. Logo transitions out, and then new clip transitions on. Then here, no transition. It just snaps onto the back of the phone. We've got a nice spinning transition like that. Dun, dun. So all of this direction and ideas and stuff I get in terms of scenes and stuff I didn't come up with. I completely copied another video. So actually how I came up with the idea of this project is someone posted a project on Upwork saying he wanted a phone advert, and he gave a bunch of reference videos. And obviously I've never done one of those, so I didn't take the job, but I thought it would be cool to try and make one just in case another job like that pops up. Then I'll know how to do it, and I can also show people that I can do it. So this is the actual reference. And this one was amazingly good. Like the quality level here, you can see that the quality level is really, really good. Not really sure how to make a lot of this, but I tried to make it as close as possible. But here you can see theirs is a lot more in depth, and I just don't know how to do that yet. So I tried to make something as close as possible. There's a lot of stuff I didn't include because I wasn't really sure how, but here you can see some really nice stuff. I don't actually have links for this online to see what the references are, because I downloaded it off his Google Drive, so I'm not really sure what these are called or where to find them, but you can see there's some really good. And this just was one of the videos. I have 3 of them. So some really nice references here, which I used. And I think I'll maybe do a couple more phone things like this, just to practice and get better at it. But yeah, so I just use that as a reference for all the scenes. And I sort of just tried to make something very similar, and I sort of improvised in a lot of it as well. As you can see, some of them are very similar, but like this end part is blatantly copied, but a lot of them are just sort of adapted to sort of like, I don't even know how to call it, made my own version of it. So you can see we have this video here. If you haven't seen other breakdowns I've done, I've pretty much explained the whole process. You sort of figure out the timing of all your scenes that you want them to be based on the music. You cut up all your music first, and then you figure out how long each scene would be using these like placement blocks. And if you've never seen one of my breakdowns before, please go check those out, because then you'll understand. I can't explain the same thing in every single video, but here you'll see that I've figured out the timing of all the scenes. And then inside of Cinema 4D here, I've just gone and made various animations that fit that timing, and I've thought more about how they transition into actual scenes this time rather than just having random scenes here. So the first one here is animatic 1. So if I go into work, production, Redmi, animatics, animatic 1. So here you'll see we have animatic 1, which is just the scene here, like that, and then it fades into this one. I should probably go into how I modeled this whole thing first. So I actually the first time I made this project was February at the beginning of this year. So I made this phone, and then I just trashed the whole project. I just left it, didn't touch it again. As you can see, I didn't put in all the details, and then I ran into it again like a month ago, I think, and I decided to remake it. So this phone I actually have, it's my actual phone. I already had a reference to use for the modeling. And then here's the old version of the project. As you can see, if I can pick something that's more visible. But yeah, here's the old version of the project, no details, nothing. And then here's the latest version of the phone here. So as you can see here, I'm still rendering out the last scene. But here, if we take a look, let's break this down. Okay, so what's in here? Okay, cool. So here we just have this is a square with a beveled edge, and the screen is also a square, and then I booleaned those two together. And you can see there's also just squares with bevels, and then here's a cylinder, beveled edges on the squares, and then there's a cylinder there, and then you just bool it together. There you get the face. And then what goes next after that? Then what we have is this section here, which is also just a square with a beveled edge, as you can see over here, which is sort of laid on top of that. And then we have the outside shell here, which is the same concept, a square with a beveled edge. Then here I sort of went a bit more in depth and just beveled these edges as well, just extruded some areas. Then here I just cut out this piece, beveled this edge here. Ooh, you can see we actually have some errors going on there, which I didn't know about, but it doesn't show up in the render, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Otherwise I would have seen it. Then here I took some squares as well, beveled the edges, rounded out the edges, and then just boolean them in. And I did the same on that side. I did the same at the top, but here I used cylinders. And then I also did one at the bottom. I was going to go make the whole USB stick, but I was a bit annoyed that I couldn't use particles, so I sort of half-assed this project. So I never actually finished it properly. But here I did the same. I just cloned a bunch of cylinders and booleaned it in to cut out those holes. And then I cut out those holes with cylinders as well, all using booleans. So here you can see all the objects that we have, like so. And then you just put them inside a boolean and then cut them out that way. So that's the casing of the actual thing. And then here inside here we have the flash of the camera. So if I go and hide this glass here, you can see it's a pretty basic object. Just a cylinder like so. And then we have the glass on the inside, which is just a sphere. And then we have some glass just covering the whole thing, which is just a cylinder as well. And then here we have the back camera. So if you hide the glass, you can see what this looks like, another cylinder. If you're intermediate in modeling, you should sort of understand what's going on here. If you're a beginner, you might not, and this video is not for you if you are. So yeah, so there's the cylinder, and then I just subsurfed it, smoothed out everything. Originally it wasn't subsurfed, but when I got to at camera angles that were quite close like this, you could see the bumps in there. So I just bumped up the resolution just to make the final render look good. I didn't want to have to remake this project in the future just because I wasn't happy with subdivisions and stuff. So I just went for the highest quality I thought would be sufficient, and then I won't have to render this out again. So yeah, as you can see, this is pretty basic. I'm just making squares, beveling the edges, and then booleaning them in, and that's pretty much how I'm just cutting out all the holes here. Pretty sure there's a few phone tutorials on the internet which you can sort of figure out how to make a phone. I didn't actually watch a phone tutorial myself, so I can't really give you any recommendations. But here I also just made some gloss for the front of the phone, and then I made, obviously the gloss is reflective, which is what I needed, and then the rest, this back plate here isn't reflective, so we just have the gloss that's reflective for the reflections. And then in here we have just a cylinder. Something strange is going on here. Oh lol, what's actually happening here? I'm not too sure. Well, looks like I have some errors going on here with my actual model, which I didn't know about, but I could care less at this stage. Let's just see. Take the body. What about this one? And this. Okay, so we have the cylinder, which is cutting out the hole. Then what's wrong? I feel like there was something else that's supposed to be going on here, but for some reason there's a mistake I must have made while making this project. You see, there's something wrong here. But anyways, if I go and look at an older version, or not an older, a different version, that problem shouldn't be there. So this is what the front camera should look like. As you can see over there, I don't know what's going on in the other project. I'm not really going to go and bother and fix that right now because I could care less. But that's what the front camera should look like. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's actually really bugging me now. But, so that's that. And then that's pretty much the modeling of the phone. The texturing is quite interesting. So I put all that inside of a null, called it Redmi, and added an octane tag for the motion blur. Then I saved it inside of a project, and then inside my actual animations here, I went and brought in an xref. So create xref, add xref, and then you bring in your project with the model in, your C4D file with the model in. And then if you make a change to the project with a model in, it'll make a change here. So it just keeps how can I say, a consistent phone model and textures across all the projects, so that I don't have some projects that are slightly different and just looks weird when it comes out to the final rendering of all the projects. But here we can take a look at some of the texturing here. I should probably actually just copy some of the lights, or instead, let's just close this thing. Let's just go into actual model here. We'll bring in an HDRI, and then we can take a better look at everything. So let's go in HDRI. So okay, so come on. Okay, so here you can see at the front of the phone, we have our screen here, which is just an emission texture with a image. So here you can go and take a look here. So this is just an emission texture with an image attached to it, like so. So there's that, and then we have the piece of glass which is on top, which is why we're getting our reflections. And then down here I actually have some modeled out shapes for the phone's buttons over here, and I just added an emission texture to those, which is giving us these white parts here. Then here you can see we have a gold texture that's sort of just applied to our rim here. So this is just a goldish texture, which is basically, it's a glossy texture with an index of 8 and then some roughness. That's pretty much it. And then the back here, gonna rotate this environment. So the back here is a very detailed back case here. So I actually used a where is this thing? Octane glossy. So I actually used a fabric leather texture from polygon.com, and then it's actually I just scaled it down very small, so it looks more like a plasticky texture rather than leather, because it's scaled down so small, and also ramped up the index to 8, so it doesn't look more like, so it looks more like a plasticky look than leather. And then I just have some roughness as well going on in there, which gives us a plasticky look rather than actual leather there. So that's why I did that. And then I also layered some slight bumps on it just to give it, once again, a plastic hard case look rather than a soft leather look on the phone. Here we just have some glass, which is just specular materials inside there as well. Just specular material inside there. It's just specular material. Then here we just have our basic gold texture as well. So it's pretty basic project. And then once again, just a gold texture here. So what makes this project look really good is just the consistency with the colors. We have black and orange pretty much, or black and gold, which makes it look really good. In this case, we have silver. I probably should have made that gold, or no, silver's actually fine. Probably should have done a variation of black, gold, and silver. So I should have maybe added some more silver around the project, but I guess it looks good in this case. But yeah, black and gold makes it look very royal, fancy, expensive, and that's pretty much how I came out with this. So you can see that because it's scaled down so small, it comes out to a really nice high quality look. So if we zoom in here, you can see what that looks like up close. And from far, it looks like a nice high quality plastic texture. So that's the texturing of this project, like so. And then we can take a look at some of the animations. So let's go and open up this one. No, this one. No, this one. As you can see, I have a lot of variations. Some I don't actually use. Just jump through them here. So in this case, what we have, sorry, it's so slow. It has to, every time I open a project, it has to reload all the textures and stuff in. So in this case, we have our model. We have a null, which is animating its rotation here, like so. Boom, boom, and then here, the actual null moves and carries on rotating, slows down, and then here, this section here just slows down until it stops at the end. I went and animated all that using some curves, as you can see, to get the actual final look of the thing. So here, you can see that I went and used some curves going on here. So I wonder why this is not going to 0. It's a bit strange. Yeah, it should be showing some curves here, but I don't know what's going on there. Anyways, so it's just some rotation with some curves to slow it down and speed it up in some areas like that. And then here the floor turns on, because here there's no reflections on the floor, but here the floor turns on. And then on the floor texture, what I've done here is I've just keyed out the actual specular's intensity from 0 all the way to 100, or 0 to 0.3. So here the floor sort of fades on because the specular materials slowly turning on until 0.3. So the floor fades on as the phone instance turns on here. So here, boom, it switches on like that. As the phone rotates, it switches on, and the floor fades on, and then they both rotate. Because they're both under a null, they rotate together. So don't have to do any individual rotations of the phone. They just rotate together like that. And that's pretty much that project. And then if we take a look through the rest of them, so Animatic 16 is this one. Guess we can just use ones that are actually being used. So here I had some crazy ideas, as you can see. Ideas I never actually went up and used. So you have some cool particle effects that I tried to do in Sound of Cinema 4D. Didn't work to my satisfaction, so I just here you can see I'm trying it again. Didn't work to my satisfaction, so I just left it. But I'm not going to go through all the projects. I'm just going to skip to the ones we're actually using. So here, just a simple camera's rotation, position in the y-axis. Pretty basic. Animatic 17 here, I actually have a camera following a spline here. So here you can see we have a spline going like so, and then the camera just follows the spline and then is pointing at a target here. So like that. Boom. So here you can see the camera drops lower at the end like that. And then that's how you get this animation. Boom. And then as that fades off, as that rotates there, it sort of goes in sync with this phone here. So it's good transitioning. Right there. Pretty basic animations. And this one, now we can actually get onto the circuit boards of the project. So here you can see we have a camera that's moving through some cubes. So here we have a camera that's going through the cubes like so, which is this scene over here. It's the scene over here. It's just going through some cubes with some circuit boards attached. Now, for the circuit boards, I used J displacement, which is a free plugin. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find it. But you can actually make some pretty cool circuit board looking textures on there, and then you can bring them into Octane and make your own custom circuit boards and stuff like that. So that's how I made the circuit boards. But they're really high resolution, so it might take a bit of time for these things to import. They're all 8K textures, and I have displacement, glossy, and normal maps for all of them, and color depth maps. So like, yeah, quite high resolution. So here you'll see I've mixed two different circuit boards together, like so. So there's one variation of a circuit board. If we go down, there's another variation of a circuit board. You can see they're really, really high quality and they're really nice. And it's all procedural when you make it inside the actual plugin. So you can come up with infinite variations of these things. But here you can see them really good. And then I just pumped in a nice high quality glossy map to get these really nice reflections here. So here we have 3 of them, and then we have the camera, which is just moving through them here. So if you go on the camera here, you'll see that we have some motion blur ticked on, and then just moving through like that. And then that transitions into animatic. Cinema 4D just crashed. Transitions into, where is this project? Why can't I find it? Oh, there. Animatic 11. So no, Animatic 10. So go and open up Animatic 10 over there, and we can take a look inside and see what we have going on here. Same concept for the circuit board. This one just has a slight amount more detail since we're spending more time looking at it, not just zipping past with a bunch of motion blur. So if this thing could actually open, that would be great. So here we have our circuit board project. You can see it's just a plane with a cube in it, pretty basic. And then we have a camera just being animated down, as you can see, like that. And then I just applied that circuit board which I generated in J displacement. I applied the displacement, the normal map, and the color map, and then you'll end up with something like this. So I actually used the color map to, I removed the saturation of the color map inside of Octane, like so. Drop the saturation, play with the contrast and gamma, and then I just use that to define the actual specular and the actual roughness of the sorry, my brain's blowing out here, of the circuit board. And then you'll get some areas that look very shiny and metally, and some areas that look more like a rubberish plastic look. Then I also have a fingerprint texture which is driving all these really, really nice high quality reflections, nice 8K texture going on in there. So if we take a closer look, you can sort of take a look at the details of everything. So you can see we have some nice fingerprinty, dirty look going on, and then we also have some bump maps to get these scratches in. They don't look that great, to be honest, but I don't think anyone will really care. So that's my circuit board and how I made that. So I think that's all really. And then we just have, for the lighting, it's just a simple octane light, as you can see over there. And that's pretty much it. And then here I just made a texture for the block with my logo on it. So I thought I'd add my own print on that thing. And I think that's it for all the projects really. You render them out, import them inside of After Effects. I've explained this many times, so I'm a bit tired of going through the whole process, but you render them out, you import them inside of After Effects, you import the After Effects compositions inside of Premiere Pro, and then you have your whole project going on there. So it's a pretty basic project overall, just a slightly more into the intermediate advanced level, but it's fairly basic. Most of the thing that's taking up most of what's taking up the time of this project is just render time. I just don't have a strong enough PC to churn these out very quickly. So I think I've explained everything in here. So yeah. Oh, that section, I almost forgot about that. So let's just reopen up After Effects. Maybe I'll give this thing some room to breathe and close Cinema 4D. Then I'll explain the section here, but I think that's all I haven't explained. For the lighting as well, I just have a few, generally it's 2 or 3 area lights to get these sort of studio-like reflections. That's pretty much it. Here you'll see we have a nice lens flare going, and I'll also explain what's happening there. So if we open After Effects here, we bring up this Redmi over here. Any second now. So here we have a flare going. As you can see, if I bring this down here, I have a lens flare going. Whoops. Lens flare going with a dirt particle texture on it. As you can see, just add some realism to it. And then I sort of animated it to move with the camera here. So here you'll see the lens flare sort of moving with scene. When it's overlaid, it sort of moves with the scene and just adds that nice 3D realism to it. And that's pretty much what I did for most of the scenes here. And then here you'll see where's the circuit board here, the zoom in part. So the zoom in part here, I just went and used optic compensation to get this FOV sort of look here. So this thing here is using optics compensation inside of After Effects to get that zoom in look. And then it just fades out here at the end onto the next scene. And that's pretty much it. So that's how I made the Redmi project in a basic concept way. Don't have to explain every single detail because you can go and make this your own way and apply it to your own projects. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to download this project, it will be on patreon.com/ArthurWhitehead once it's complete. I'm sure this tutorial will be uploaded before the actual project is posted. So it'll be uploaded to patreon.com after the project is posted. I don't think I'll include the actual renders of it because it's gigabytes in file size. And I want to make it as small as possible for you guys. So I won't include the renders, but the project files and other stuff, you'll be able to download and edit for yourself. And then you can also follow me on Instagram if you want to see some of these renders in the final video. And you can also keep up to date with me there. I'm most up to date on Instagram, and you can also follow me on Facebook as well if you want to keep up to date with me there. You can. I do post a lot of my projects and stuff there as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you once again for another tutorial. I know I should be making a lot more than I am making right now, but I just have so much. It's very difficult to make a new tutorial every single time. I sort of have to make extra work than I'm already doing for myself, just to make tutorials on them. I can't make tutorials on client work or other stuff that I'm doing in my life. So yeah, I hope you guys understand. I will try and make some more tutorials. I'm going to try and do some more beginner stuff. I haven't really done any beginner tutorials for Octane. So if you guys want, I could do a beginner series for Octane Render, just going over the render settings, some how to make basic materials like plastic, metal, glass, things like that. If that's thoughts that you guys would like, I could do a beginner series for Octane Render, and it's just some maybe more shorter form tutorials. These longer form ones do take a lot of time, and it's difficult for me to do. But thank you guys once again for your support. Have a great day, and we'll see you on my next video, and goodbye.